just want to keep trying, and I'm not gonna give up of trying to succeed and trying to pass. Oh my god, guys. Wait, I need to calm down.
This is going to be my redemption.
Hey friends, so today I would like to talk about me going back to school because this is quite a big life change. I graduated 4 years ago, and we'll talk more about my graduation, right? Or like that it almost didn't happen. But I've experienced a lot of life in between these years, like in between school, and I'm approaching this time around completely differently. So I'm excited to talk about why I'm going back to school, my thoughts on it, and how I'm feeling right now. So let's get started with talking about the fact that I almost failed school, how that happened, and how I actually made it. Like, for some context, this last school I went to was basically, after you graduate that, you can go study at any university in Switzerland, basically, in any higher educational school. The last year of that school, for my personal life, a lot of shit hit the fan. I was struggling, and I think it was the middle of term where it was so obvious that I was struggling. My teachers noticed it through my grades, but also I guess I wasn't vibrant, like I wasn't emanating like energetic, positive vibes, I guess. So I definitely had a couple of talks with them. They were concerned about me graduating. I was concerned about me graduating, but I was more concerned about like surviving life. But it did get to this point where it was like, okay, I was willing to put up the fight and try, and so I did try very hard. It was a year where I prioritized school in a way I've never done before. I isolated myself from everything. I think I didn't even really post any videos during that time, and like I didn't see friends. I didn't do anything except focus on school.
I've literally isolated myself from everything that makes me happy except a little tiny amount of time with my friends and reading sometimes. Like, I had to read school books for the last month, but yeah, I'm just so done with everything. I just want it to be over. Feel like a zombie. I feel like my soul has left my body, and I'm not exaggerating. I literally could cry any second.
It was horrible. And in the end, on this day where you were supposed to get your results,
I'm in kind of a vulnerable moment right now because in 2 minutes, I don't know if it's exactly like if they're gonna do it on time, but they told us they're gonna send emails to people who passed, and if you don't get an email, they're gonna call you, which means you didn't pass. So I'm just kind of stressing out right now, but I can do it. Like, I can survive this moment. It's not gonna change my life. I fucking passed. Wait, I need to calm down. Guys, friends, girls, I can't believe it right now. I'm making my matcha latte right now because I haven't had one yet, but I just had to write all my friends who are like asking if I passed, and also just communicating to my friends. And like, it feels surreal.
I got an email, and I basically had like, okay, the grades were done in like numbers and points. So to pass, you need to be 0, 0. So guess what I had? -1. I had -1, but I only found that out at my graduation ceremony, where my class teacher, she came up to me and she was like, you know what? You actually had -1. But one of your teachers like put up your grade so that you would pass. Y'all, the gratitude I have for that teacher, thank you, shout out to that history teacher of mine. Hope they're doing well. But basically I didn't pass, but I did pass because my teacher changed my grade. So ultimately, yeah, I got 0-0. I got the certificate. I can study at universities. So that's what I'm doing today.
I look pretty terrible.
So at this point, it's 2019. I've graduated. Finally, at this point where I can like do what I've been wanting to do something where I felt like school was in the way of me doing it. That was just like creating, doing YouTube, earning money. But what I experienced was a lot of just processing too. It was probably the time where standing in front of this cliff of possibilities of life and being free actually felt the worst, the scariest, the most uncertain. Obviously then it turned 2020 and there was just so much like stress going on in the world, and that really impacted me too. I experienced major burnout where I wasn't really able to work for an entire year properly and like earn money for an entire year. Yeah, it's been a lot. But slowly recovering from my burnout, I would say like 2021, end of 2021, 2022 was when I was like able to slowly start healing many things, many different things. But it felt like, okay, there's more space here. There's more security in who I am and in life. Like, it was one of those waves of recognizing, okay, things can be fine. Like recovering, it felt a bit more hopeful than the previous years. Health issues was actually another aspect that impacted me majorly and fueled also this like desire to be healthy in all aspects of my life, realizing that work is not everything and that I need to have fun too. And I think that is when I had a bit more space to also just follow my curiosities, honor my curiosities, and learning was one of those curiosities. I think especially during the time of the pandemic, I learned a lot about the world, I learned a lot about politics, and I was so afraid of those things, of talking about those things, because I didn't know anything about them. And so that really inspired me to learn more. And so yeah, even more curiosity about learning about the world. So I started exploring, I started learning languages, I started learning French again, I started learning Japanese again, I started reading again during like the worst times of my like health decreasing or like being really bad. I started reading again. So all of these blessings. It was this dark time, but all of these things like learning and educating myself and reading were these like gems or these stars that really gave me hope, and I want to keep surrounding myself with these things. So I was slowly getting more curious about literature and just thought like, I would love to study this. I would love to be able to feel empowered in my analysis, in my opinions of literature and language. So I started being curious. After having this inspiration of learning, it became a more specific goal of, oh, I want to study English. That then led me to looking for schools, looking for different degrees in Switzerland, and I landed on the school in the city. I like the city, I like the vibes, I like the school, I like the courses. So now I'm here in the city. I'm in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. And actually the city is quite, like the university is pretty prevalent. I think it's a good place to study because there's so many students. there's culture, there are good vibes. And I feel great being here. I feel great about my major. And then I also need to take a minor, which I've chosen to be political science. That's on my current degree choices.
As I'm continuing to work on creative projects throughout my studies, hosting a website on Squarespace has been a great experience. Whether you're creating an art portfolio, selling online products, or aiming to build an online community, Squarespace has you covered with all the tools you need. Let me introduce their new courses feature, with which you can customize your course with a powerful Fluid Engine editor, make it look exactly how you want. After, you can upload your lessons, and then simply add a paywall and set the price. Head over to squarespace.com to get a free trial and start creating your dream website. And remember that once you're ready to launch, use my link squarespace.com/Yusuf to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
I'm trying to document how I'm currently preparing to go back to school. It's rather focusing on, my sleep schedule, focusing on scheduling, time management with a full-time job, which I am continuing, which is YouTube. And also my social life, like managing that. I do want to hold space for also making connections at school, and just bond with people about like the joy of learning. I'm excited for that. So there are a lot of changes going on, from like new people, new lifestyle incoming, new lifestyle cooking, and new best version of myself in the making. I'm happy to be here, happy to be sharing this journey. Thank you for listening to my story so far. It's been a lot, right? And there's a lot more to it than what I described, but I hope I was able to give you a good overview of how I've arrived here, of choosing to study again after 4 years, and how I'm feeling about it. Let me know if you're going back to school, whether you have just continued studying for yourself. Let's share about the joy of like learning and education, how you plan on managing your health, your well-being, your self-care throughout this next school year, or just in life, right? So thank you so much for being here. I do have a Patreon if you're interested in some more exclusive content from me, whether it's vlogs, more life updates, extended videos, and also make sure to use my Squarespace link once you're ready to launch your Squarespace website. I'll see you around, and until then, peace out.